Hello everyone, this is Angela from Angela of Video, and this is Video Tech Tuesdays, where we talk about everything video, tech specs, and gear. I am live, as I do every Tuesday, on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you have any questions during my live stream, please comment. I will do my very best to answer any questions live. I have all my screens up to try and monitor each of my little live broadcasts going on. So if I don't get to your question, or if maybe you're watching this later, not during the actual live broadcast, don't worry, just use the hashtag replay in your question and I will know that I didn't get a chance to answer it live, and I will message you or talk about it next week. So, what are we talking about today? Today we are getting really deep into the tech part of Video Tech Tuesdays, and we're actually getting a little away from the video part. So we are talking about quality audio, specifically in the idea of a podcast, or we're thinking of something like a live video like I'm doing right now. Maybe you do a lot of Zoom videos and you need really high quality audio for it. So we're talking about something like that type of audio that you're going to be plugging into your computer and that you want it to be a step up. I've already done a video about how to get good audio for like free and now we're going to talk about how to get really good / great audio, and it will require a small investment. So what are we looking at? We're looking at specifically, like I said, video, I'm sorry, this is what happens when you're live, right? Audio, hooking it up to the computer, something that's going to have a small investment, something that's really good for YouTubers, podcasters, live streams, Zooms, all that good stuff. Cool. So I want to start with the hardware. First off, we want to be using a cardioid condenser microphone. There's a lot of different types. We'll get into some brands, but that is the type of microphone we want. So a condenser mic is something that you want to use for talking vocals, all right? Versus if you see something labeled as a dynamic mic, they're used for louder sounds. So maybe you are recording drums or you're recording an opera singer. Those types of really loud, round sounds are going to be great for a dynamic mic. But when you're just talking like this, dynamic mic's going to be really too quiet. And so we need a condenser microphone. It's ideal for when you're picking up dialogue, picking up voices that are just talking. Now, the cardioid part of a cardioid condenser microphone is in reference to how the microphone picks up sounds. So cardioid is directional versus an omnidirectional means it's going to pick up all of the noises everywhere on every side of my microphone. We don't want that because that's going to pick up room tone. That's going to pick up shuffling of paper. That's just going to be not what we want to get clean audio, right? That's going to be for you're trying to film the like ambiance of a room filled with music, then you'd want it on all sides. But for just talking like this, I'm only talking into this part of the microphone. That's the only part that should be on. So that's why we want cardioid. Fun fact, cardioid comes from the Latin for heart-shaped. So let me switch you over real quick. Boom, got some diagrams today. So you can see on the top diagram, it's a heart-shaped pattern that it picks up sound. All right, so if the front of the microphone's the very top, we're looking at the top one, directly in front of that, like the very top of this microphone, it is getting a ton of it's picking up a lot of audio, and the farther away you go, the less it kind of picks up, and on the sides it picks up even less, and then behind it picks up nothing. Now, to make it look like that's a handheld that this diagram is, so I wanted to also show a diagram with a kind of like the broadcaster, the radio mic that you would be using, and the one I use. So on the bottom is a look at the pattern, kind of like profile of the pattern. So you would want to be talking into the microphone from the right side of this picture, because you see that's where it's picking it up. That's the front of the microphone. That's where it's picking up all of this noise. And on the side, you can see the amount of noise it picks up is smaller and smaller until it gets to the back, where it almost doesn't pick up anything at all. So understanding the pattern of how these microphones works for picking up audio is crucial, not only in why we're picking these microphones, because again, we want something that when my neighbors outside my window right here start hammering away at their roof, that it doesn't get picked up because it's behind the microphone, right? But then also to know when I'm talking into the microphone where I need to talk into. So that is my little quick cardioid condenser microphone spiel. So that's the type of microphones we're going to be looking at. If we want to plug this in directly into the computer, we need a way to do that with a USB connection. There's a couple of different ways that we can do that, all right? So let's first look at the idea of kind of like a cheaper setup that's cheaper. Still, we're talking about investments here, but we're looking at cheaper setups that maybe you're just first getting into podcasting. Maybe you're just doing like a lot of Zoom calls for work with clients, and you want good audio because it's something that you're doing every day and it's presenting your business. So something in that kind of a line. We're going to be looking at these two microphones. So let me switch you over again. I got lots of fun pictures today. So the first one would be the Blue Yeti USB mic. So it plugs directly, the microphone has a USB cord that will plug directly into your computer, and it's only $130. I have this one on, what is this called? B&H. I'm showing everything from B&H because they're just a very reliable brand to buy from. So it's very super simple of a microphone. Just plug it in and go. Now there are two for this one's, I believe the slightly more expensive Yeti microphone. Definitely get this one. Don't get the little snowbally one. I don't think they work super well. So the Blue Yeti is has a really nice feature that you can, I wonder if I can find it somewhere. Maybe not. Let's just make that big. So there is a feature on here where you do the cardioid directional microphone, where only the people directly in front of the microphone is going to be getting the audio picked up. But they also have a separate setting for the microphone where you can do a 2-person setup, front and back. It looks kind of like a figure 8 sign. And what it does is it turns on the front microphone and then it will pick up behind the microphone. It still does not pick up on the sides. So that kind of setup would be good for if you are directly facing somebody. So you're direct, I'm sitting here talking into the microphone. The other person would be sitting here looking at me talking into the back of the microphone. Again, that will only work if you turn on the figure 8 2-person setting on the mic. Otherwise, the person behind it will not get anything. But at the same time, that's a really nice feature if there's 2 people and you want a really simple setup. But again, you have to be facing each other. The second microphone I want to look at is a little bit nicer, and it is the Rode NT USB microphone. So again, it's a USB, so you can plug it directly into your computer. Rode mics are a wonderful brand. They're very highly recognized. It's a really good go-to brand, and they do all different types of microphones. So this one comes with a little pop screen, which is really nice too. It also has dials on the side so that you can adjust the, can I plug in? There you go. Can adjust the audios. And then also super important is it has a microphone jack, a headphone jack, which is super very much important. And we will talk about that in a couple steps down, why we need to be listening to our own audio. So the Rode NT USB microphone would be another good go-to if you're looking for a cheaper starter setup. Now, let's say we are going a little bit beyond that, right? Like maybe instead of you just talking to the camera like this, you have a lot of guests. You always have two people talking on your podcast, right? And maybe sitting directly in front of each other isn't ideal because you're filming it for YouTube and you both want to be facing the camera, something like that, right? Where the Yeti is not going to work for this. We're going to, you absolutely need each person to have a microphone. Putting a microphone, in between two people, it does not work well. Even a really good microphone is not designed to be used that way, so it's not going to work that way, honestly. So what you need first is going to be an interface to connect multiple microphones to your computer, because most programs like Zoom will not recognize more than one microphone plugged in at a time. You can only use one. So what you want to do is have an interface that plugs multiple microphones into one interface that plugs into your computer. So I'm going to cut over here. For that, if you're only looking for two people, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 2x2 USB audio interface. It's a very long word, so that's why I wanted to show you the picture. This is $160, and what it does is you take two microphones that are XLR inputs, and so you plug both of them in here. You see you have gains for each of them individually, which is wonderful because we all know people speak at different volumes, so you want to be able to control the volumes differently for each person. And then this just plugs directly into your computer and it mixes it for you. So again, has a headphone jack so that you can listen and you can monitor everything going on, make sure it sounds clear. Pardon me, my internet's a little slow today. And so this is what I would recommend if you're doing a lot of podcasts with multiple people on it. But that being said, it needs XLR inputs, okay? So that's not going to be a USB input. XLRs are actually much better. It's traditional, what we use for sound. If you do any cool instruments, you probably know about XLRs. I don't do anything cool with instruments, so I only know it from the microphone world. But you're going to need a microphone that has an XLR input. So for that, if we're getting this interface, so you need two microphones to plug into it, I'm going to suggest we can go with the Audio-Technica cardioid condenser microphone. Again, that's the type of mics we're looking at. So this is the AT2035. It's $150. You will need two of them again, right? We need two microphones for two people talking. This one kind of just comes with the little setup, and you see this right here? This is what the XLR cable looks like, all right? It has three little prongs. That's what we're going to be plugging into the interface. Again, we want to set this up so that each person has their own microphone directly in front of them, and that's what they're talking into. Now, let's say that you have graduated from your small podcasting life and you're getting really big and you're doing radio stuff, you're doing big podcasts, you're doing YouTube lives, you're doing it all, right? And you need something that's bigger and better and multi-purposeful. I'm going to suggest that you look into the Rode Rodecaster. Again, we're looking at Rode mics, and this is really fun. I haven't gotten to use it yet, but it looks like something that is really important if you're doing lots of multi-people interviews, if you are doing a lot of podcasting. So what it is, it's that interface that you're going to plug the microphones into this, and then you plug this into your computer. This one is $600 by itself. So yes, it's an investment. However, it has 4 mic inputs for XLRs, 4 headphone outputs, all right? So that means that you can have yourself plus 3 guests, and you all have your own headphones, you all have your own microphone. You can control each microphone separately, and then wonderful thing about this is really cool is that it connects to your phone. So you can have someone remotely call in and do one of those like, give us a call and we'll answer your questions, right? You can connect your phone to it and it will record whoever's on the phone as another line in. Really neat. Another thing that is really cool about this is that it records on a micro SD card. So you can actually just take this by itself and go somewhere and record an interview. You don't need a computer. You don't need anything else with you. Of course, it does also plug into a computer with a USB cable, so you can, record it directly on your computer if that's something you want to do as well. And so the $600 is just the interface itself. However, what is this called? B&H sells a kit for $1,100. It comes with 2 microphones. It comes with the arms, which are really convenient so that you can kind of attach this to your desk and have a microphone, so you're not like looking for microphone stands. Headset, micro SD card, all the good stuff. Basically, you spend $1,100 and you are ready to start podcasting. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is if you didn't want to get their version that has, if you don't want to buy their microphone, I wanted to talk about my microphone that I use during all my live streams. My microphone is the Rode NT1A. It's $230. It's just like as you can hear it, just a wonderful, lovely microphone. I think it works really well. It's XLR is the main one. It is an XLR cable, so I have an interface that plugs into the microphone, plugs into, and then that plugs into my computer. It has a pop screen, which is super important, and we'll talk about in a moment. And the other thing about this one is that you can buy it with an adapter on B&H. I've not used this USB interface that it comes with, like the kit comes with, but you can do that too if you want something a little bit smaller than the giant Rodecaster Pro setup. You can get kind of this kit all put together on B&H for $350. Not bad. So those are all the hardware information I wanted to share with you. So let's really quick look at software. I'm not going to go too much into this, but when you are recording, you want to use, if you have the Adobe Suite or any part of the Adobe Creative Cloud, you can get Audition, which is how I record when I'm doing, recording voiceovers and all that good stuff. You can also do Audacity. That is a free download to record any of your podcasts if you're looking just to record audio. I know a lot of podcasts, because I edit them, will actually record directly into Zoom. And if you do that, because they want to do like interviews on Zoom, they record the whole thing, they have me edit the video, and they put the video up and use the audio for a podcast. What I recommend for that is to make sure that you go into your settings and you go to recording and you click record each audio separately. Because what happens is when you only get the default is you just get one audio clip. And so whoever's the loudest is the one who you get to hear. So that means if someone's someone's telling a story, person A is telling a story, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so funny, ha ha ha. Suddenly we can't hear anything person A is saying. You just hear me laughing, and that's not great. And then in addition to that, this is a lot easier because everyone's audio is on a separate track, that you can say, hey, wow, Angela's really loud, but then her guest is really quiet. It's a lot easier to adjust the audio settings, to put on filters when you need to put on filters, instead of having to go through and like chop everything up by hand. It takes a lot more time that way. So lastly, I wanted to talk about tips. So the biggest thing that I was trying to get to, I mentioned it in the beginning, I'm going to mention it again, I will never stop mentioning this. The microphone needs to be in front of you, and not like near you, and not far away from you. It needs to be directly in front of your face. Okay? Your sound comes out of your chest, and of course out of your mouth, but the really warmness of your voice comes from your chest. And so that is where your microphone needs to be. Again, these microphones are built specifically to stop ambient noise. So they're not going to pick up something that's quiet or something that's far away. So you need to be ideally 6 inches from your microphone. Something like this doesn't sound great, right, guys? All right, so you don't want to be touching the microphone with your mouth. But when you're far away, suddenly it's hard to hear me. You're getting more room ambiance. You're just not hearing me. So if you are, I know a lot of times people try to hide the mic off screen or put something in front of it because they don't want you to see it on camera. These types of mics, you can't do that with at all. If it's going to be in the shot if you're using it. And that's totally fine, especially for podcasts, right? So make sure your microphone is 6 inches from your face, and that you are talking directly into the front of the microphone. Again, each person needs their own microphone. What happens, I see a lot, is 2 people are trying to use the same microphone. You either get this, prepare your ears. Terrible, right? You get that like scratchy noise of them moving the mic back and forth between 2 people. You don't want that. Or you'll get this, where I'm to the side, the other person's to the side, and now my voice is going into the side of the microphone, which, if we remember our little grid I showed, our diagram, it doesn't pick up audio that well from the side. It's not meant to. So you each need your own microphone. They each need to be directly in front of you, 6 inches away. Use a pop screen is my next tip. That's what this little thing is. Boop, boop. Pop screen just helps for those sounds, right? Like, so that you're not constantly breathing on the microphone. The microphone's not just taking in lots of like harsh breath sounds as you're onto it, right? Make sure your audio input in whatever software you're deciding to use is set to your external microphone. So I have, like if you're using Zoom, the default might not be the microphone you just plugged in. The default might be your webcam microphone or the microphone that's on your computer. So make sure you go into settings, you make sure that whatever program you're using is set to your external mic. And then also you might need to double check with your audio settings on your computer system to make sure the default settings are set to the external mic as well. And always do an audio check, right? You set up your microphone, you set up the way you want to sit, you set everything good to go, put on headphones and listen to your audio. All right, so this way are you too quiet? Are you too loud? Are you spiking? You need to bring it down, right? Are you too far away? Is there a lot of ambiance? Maybe you realize, oh crap, I'm not actually recording with the right mic. I'm recording with a different mic. So all of that stuff, super important, and you're not going to know it unless you do an audio check. Just looking at the levels is not going to tell you what's going on. You need to listen. And when we're talking about levels, do not do auto gain. If that's a selection that you can do either in your software or on your interface. If that's a thing that they offer, do not do it. You want to manually adjust the volume for every microphone you're using. Never do auto gain. What that does is you're talking and it's like, all right, I think this is how loud you want to talk. I'll adjust the volume. You stop talking and the microphone goes, oh my God, there's no more sound. What do I do? What do I do? And it shoots the gain up real loud. The volume goes really loud because it's trying to listen. Like, is there something there? Someone talking, right? And then you're done listening, you're done stopping, not speaking. So you start speaking again, and suddenly your voice is super loud. And then it takes like a minute for the auto gain to be like, oh, that's too loud, I'll lower it. And so what happens is you get like these spikes. You get things really quiet, you get things really loud, you get things really quiet, really loud. And it's just, again, a huge hassle to try and edit it later. So never do auto gain. Always set your gain manually. I do also would like to make a note that I do not know why, but I've been rewatching my lives from Instagram. I'm using a new software to go live on Instagram, and I can't control the audio. It's super loud volume versus if you listen to the exact same stream on Facebook or YouTube. So I do apologize for that in advance. I guess it's not in advance. It's at the very end of my podcast. But it's really loud. I'm not sure why. I'm going to try and look into that. But again, that's kind of why you need to listen to your feeds, because you want to know if you're spiking or if you're too quiet, no one can hear you. So my Instagram is probably spiking, and that's what it's been doing. And I don't know how to lower it with the current software I'm using. Well, all of that being said, we went through a lot. As always, I always put in too much into these. I apologize, guys. I just want you to know everything. I want you to have all of the information. So, if you are looking to do a branded video, please download my free checklist at bit.ly/AWV checklist. It tells you exactly what you need to think about and figure out and what you need to create a branded video. This is what you want to do in your pre-production. It will help you think of content, helps you think of how many people you need to put in the video, how many crew you need, all of that really great stuff. So after you go there and download the video, it's a checklist, it's a PDF. Once you do that, if you decide that, you know what, this is turning into a bigger project than you thought it was, you need more help than just like a packet, feel free to give me a call at bit.ly/callawv. It's absolutely free. We'll get on the phone for 30 minutes. Super chill. Just tell me what you're looking to do and I'll give you advice, and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost and how big the project is that you're thinking about doing. So all of that being said, I'm like losing my voice. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will see everyone next Tuesday at 1 o'clock for our live Video Tech Tuesdays. Oh, and real quick before we leave, please check us out on Instagram. Check out our story all week. We are going to be asking questions about what your questions are. So leave comments, either DM us or leave comments on our story, and we are going to collect all of everyone's questions and do a Q&A next week for our Video Tech Tuesday. So please check that out on Instagram. It's at Angela Wolf Video. Leave us your questions and they will be answered. So have a wonderful week, everyone, and we will see you next Tuesday.